From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, here's the deal. As we go into the next few mornings, really this week, it's cold. I mean, we're that time of the year. Now, not as cold as we were last week. I don't think we're going to be looking at as much frost in the valley, but of course still some frost and freezing temperatures to many of the higher elevations, obviously, right? That's pretty typical this time of the year. But when we're talking about rain and snow, it's dry. Now, I know there was a lot of hope, especially with that nice snow that we got to see out at the ski park, but things are dry for now. But we should be able to hold on to it, and then next week, we might start to see some changes in our pattern, which would mean a wetter pattern, mean more snow in the higher elevations and more rain for the lower elevations. Now, for tonight, and we go into tomorrow morning, you can see it's not too terribly cold for the north coast. I mean, even the inland areas will still basically in the low 40s, maybe some upper 30s there. Now, for Trinity County, yes, it gets a little bit colder there. Could see some patchy frost, but still looking at those temperatures around Weaverville in the mid 30s. Now, we take you out to the North State, out in the valley. I mean, yeah, we may dodge those upper 30s for those overnight lows in the early morning. So again, not as cold as it has been. But for Siskiyou, Modoc County, easily into the 30s. In places like Alturas, probably closer to the 20s there. And then we've got the 20s here later on tonight and early tomorrow morning for the eastern mountains. Yeah, it's cold, but nothing unusual for this time of the year. Now, we do have some storm systems off to our west that we've got our eyes on, but really overall isn't going to have much of an impact on our weather. The main impact will just be some clouds passing through from time to time. This storm system breaks apart before it gets here because high pressure is holding on strong. But as I mentioned, and I was talking about it in the headlines at the beginning of this forecast here, that we will see the potential for some changes. We're going to go from a dry pattern this week to around Sunday to Monday, the potential for some wet weather beginning to move in. Now, if you notice, we're just not seeing impressive storm systems moving through. So at this point, even if we do see that transition over to wetter weather, it won't be a ton of rain and it won't be a ton of snow at that here, taking you into the higher elevations. So we take a look at a precipitation outlook, and yeah, over the next 10 days or so, we do expect to see the potential of seeing above normal rainfall. But one thing to keep in mind is we also have to look at the temperatures. And the temperatures will most likely be above normal for this time of the year during the time frame when we start seeing that rain begin to move in as well. What that means is higher snow levels. I mean, nothing drastic, but I think places like Mount Shasta City will be looking at rain, but the ski park, kind of the borderline of where we can see that rain and snow mix. So probably somewhere around 5,000-6,000 feet where we could be looking at some of those snow levels as we do look at the extended outlook. But that's a long ways out. Something we'll have to kind of watch and monitor, but that's the trend for now. Now we look at the wave heights for your Tuesday, and you can see they do drop down to about 4 feet. They'll drop down even more as we go into Tuesday night, but notice this. We're starting to see kind of some of those wave heights begin to increase here as we get toward the end of the week. This is a disturbance that's approaching, and that's what's going to allow those wave heights to increase here. Unfortunately, that disturbance won't bring us much in the way of rain, if any. Okay, so you can see your marine forecast, north winds at 5 to 10 knots. There are no advisories in the forecast. Of course, you saw those wave heights are looking pretty good. All right, so for tonight, I mean, not bad. I mean, it's getting cold, but still mainly upper 30s, low 40s for the valley, but looks like the 20s. So we may even dodge the teens for places like Alturas, but dropping down to the 20s. And there you can see for Siskiyou County in the mid to upper 20s, and not as cold for Trinity County inland, and of course not as cold here for the coast either. Now for tomorrow, temperature is pretty much on par with what we saw today. We got those temperatures in the mid 60s for the valley. In fact, it may be a bit warmer for places like Chico for tomorrow. And then temperatures mainly in the 40s and a few low 50s for some of the higher elevations in Siskiyou, Modoc, and the eastern mountains. But for Trinity County, upper 50s, maybe some low 60s there. That's also the case for the inland areas, and upper 50s, low 60s for the coast. So we do now have a chance for some showers in the long-range forecast. Dry through the weekend for almost everyone, except for the coast, which we'll get to that in a second. I've got the snow levels about 4,000 to 5,000 feet as we go into your Monday of next week. But overall, you'll notice the temperatures are not changing for the valley through the weekend, but we do expect to see a bigger drop in those temperatures by early next week, and even the valley Could see a chance for some showers by Monday of next week. Looking at your 7-day outlook for the coast. So the coast and inland, as early as Sunday, you've got the chance for showers, and then, of course, coming into Monday as well. But for Trinity County, Weaverville in general, we're looking at that chance for showers really not getting here until next Monday with snow levels around 4,500 feet. And those temperatures for both inland and in Trinity County not changing much, basically in the upper 50s to low 60s.